Hello everybody and welcome to race number 14 for the MSCA Casey's Cup Series. We are here at Iowa Speedway for the second event here and for the 14th event overall in the season. Andy Wink will lead them down to the stripe, and green flag is out. A big run coming off of the start. And the 68 falling back a little bit. That's Ernest Crispin in the number 68 car. Running for the Mojang Farvham partnership. However, Mojang will drop after this season, meaning that he will go to purely Farvham Motorsports, which to him I think is a good thing, all things considered, as that team has just not performed very well in recent years. However, Andy Wink off to a pretty good lead. Matthew Axe in the 56, close behind, but not very close to try and make a move. The only car I can see right now in third is Ernest Crispin that could possibly make a move for second. However, incidents at the back. Martin Grayson in the 86 slapping the wall, and he will have some heavy damage. Trace Howard as well in the 27 machine, smoking as he comes down around turns 3 and 4. And another car in pit lane, that's Andrea Martinez. Anderson Kraft has two cars that looks like they have been knocked out or have taken some form of damage. Already 10 laps into this race. But Matthew Axe has started to pull up to the back of the 11 car and is making a decent run. Matthew Axe hasn't won a race since Circuit of the Americas of last year. That's race number 3 of last year. And consider this is 13 races plus another 13 races. That's a total of 26 races that he has gone through without a win. And while some drivers do have a longer winless streak than he does, he's definitely looking for a second win after that. After that disappointment that he had at Circuit of the Americas, being race number 3 of last season, and then now we're at race 14. Matthew Axe, definitely one of the drivers who we've actually looked for possibly as a championship contender, has not been able to win a championship in recent years, but has come very close. As you can see now, a few laps later, he's gotten a lot closer to the back of the 11, as well as two other cars joining into this group, Anelie Wittmer in the 112 and the 42 of Austin Jakes. And it looks like the 56 getting a good run off of turn 4. He's going to make a move into the inside of the 11 machine into turn 1. And that's a good move by the 56 of Matthew Axe, as now they're side by side going down the back straightaway into turn 3. Matthew Axe on the number 56 still hanging on a little bit, but now he's going to clear the 11. But he still has the 68 right on his tail. And Ernest Crispin could make this interesting. As Crispin, I don't believe he has won a race in his career. He's had some pretty decent finishes, but I don't believe he has won a race yet. He has won races in the American Ethanol Truck Series back when it was back before it was called the American Ethanol Truck Series. However, Dennis Coetzee in the 87, rookie last year, did not receive a win. This team of Anderson Kraft Racing has had some pretty good runs, just has not been able to capitalize and has not been able to really bring home a victory for this team. However, they've come close really with that 72 car. However, the 72 right now back in the low 30s in position, as she is one lap down. Dennis Coetzee, however, the last driver on this team, as Trace Howard dropped out, I believe due to a camshaft issue on that number 27. But the 87 of Dennis Coetzee has run a pretty good race so far, currently sitting in 11th position, and he is the highest running of Anderson Kraft Racing's cars, and he's doing a pretty good job, I believe, in 11th position, and the only driver really at this point from that team that actually has a shot at actually making the race and or actually being able to win the race. See, now he's getting by, trying to get by Jacob Ray, whose teammate Matthew Axe is up at the lead. There was a bit of a cut there. We actually had some camera issues. We've been having a few issues with the recordings lately, but now we've got it back going again as Dennis Coetzee still running that inside lane, and Andrea Martinez losing a little bit of ground as she's going to drop another spot, although she is not actually dropping a spot on the board. She's dropping a spot on track to David Wilson in the 6, who will have a chance to get by the 55 or the 87. But Coetzee having a hard time trying to get by Jacob Ray, as that 55 Pontiac has definitely got some speed up high. I don't know if he's going to be able to hold off the 87's charge, as Coetzee still looking to that inside lane, and it looks like Coetzee will take over 10th. And he will clear the 55 off of turn number 4. So a good move by Dennis Coetzee to make that pass for the top 10 position. As we're going to look through here, this is your championship grid. The number 01 of Ricky Dixon, currently I believe in second place behind Anelie Wittmer, if not in third place behind Martin Grayson and Anelie Wittmer. Currently running in, I believe, 16th position right now, behind the 7 of Arlington Park, who is being split between, those two drivers are being split by the 72. But Ricky Dixon in the 01 has definitely had a pretty decent season, although not so much towards the end of it as we saw last year, more towards the beginning, as he was on fire at the beginning, getting 2 wins, I believe, in a row in that 01 Walmart machine, and has definitely shown that he has a lot of speed in that 01 car. Although I don't know if he's going to be able to get up to the 112, because she's right now up at the front of the field, and that's where Anelie Wittmer is sitting. However, right behind the 42, which is Ricky Dixon's teammate Austin Jakes, at this point doing everything he can to keep Anelie Wittmer out of the win. Out of the winner's circle, as that will basically seal up her championship. Meanwhile, Matthew Axe in the 56 still holding the lead as we're coming down towards the end of this race, or at least halfway. And the 56 of Matthew Axe has had a pretty decent car so far, has been able to hold off a charge from Austin Jakes, as well as Anelie Wittmer, both of those drivers having wins this season. And Matthew Axe definitely wanting to run as hard as he can to make sure that he has that victory at his grasp by the end of this race. Matthew Axe still holding. However, Austin Jakes did gain a little bit of time on him coming down that last lap. Going back into the field, the 21 of Lucas Tran has had a pretty decent run, currently sitting in 11th right now, and he's one of the drivers whom we expected to actually run very well this season. Finished second in the Quaker State late models last year for DW Motorsports, that team moving into the Casey's Cup Series, using some of the assets that they gained from joining the Copperhead Amateur Series over this season. And so they're using kind of what they've learned in that series to also put it into this series, as the cars are very similar. And that number 21 Mustang has definitely had a decent season. Not to the extent of a championship contender, but he's definitely had a better season than maybe we've seen so far. However, Anelie Wittmer, as we look through the field again, currently your points leader, and has a pretty hefty points lead. I believe at this point one of the top 3, I think at this point the top 3 are the only realistic chances to actually get the championship from out under her nose, as she's right now trying to get by the 42 of Austin Jakes. Austin Jakes' teammate Ricky Dixon, one of the drivers who is in that top 3 and could realistically take over the win. Martin Grayson, however, he's not doing too well right now, as he's mired back in the field, a lap down after making early contact with the outside wall, heavy contact at the outside wall. No cautions have been flown as of yet. In the truck race, we actually had a caution on lap 25, so definitely a good run right now as Wittmer and Jakes battling for second place, as Anelie Wittmer wanting to take the win. Could sweep the Iowa races, but we don't know for sure. One of the drivers who we were on championship watch last year, Norman TL, not so much this year. He's dropped off a little bit since last year. However, still maintaining, I believe, a top 10 running position right now. That 44 machine has definitely had some speed, but just hasn't been able to lock home any wins. I believe he won at Indianapolis last year with that car being unsponsored, and it definitely helped his ride this year being sponsored by GameStop and A&W. But just hasn't really helped the team a whole lot. He's currently back in 15th right now, if not 30th. Actually not 15th, 35th. As he was one of those drivers who fell victim to the early shuffle, which this track is notorious for. It's an early race shuffle where a lot of drivers can get put into the wall in one of the corners, and I believe he was also one of the victims of that. However, coming towards the end of the race, Matthew Axe still able to hold off the 112 and the 42 machines. Axe really, he's at this point probably breathing heavy right now. He's seen this before, as he's had to hold off a lot of brute chargers, and the caution lights are out. Yellow flag flying. We have a caution here on lap, looks to be 92 or 97, and that is going to end the race. Matthew Axe, I believe, has just won this race, and Aaron Reese getting a little bit high off of turn 2. Oh, heavy contact from the 21 machine of Lucas Tran. We're going to watch from the roof cam of Lucas Tran as we're going to see what happened here. He's got some cars to his inside. He can see the smoke. He tries to move inside, sees a car, just cannot move back to the outside, and just didn't have enough space to go through, and a heavy hit. And then, getting into the back of the 2 of Eric Monaco, who was also involved. A little bit of the wreck progressed farther as the 5 of Castle Radcliffe was hit hard, and then the 6 of David Wilson was also involved slightly in that. But what that means is that Matthew Axe coming across the line, the first time we've seen a race end under caution. Matthew Axe will take the victory, and a good race for him. He led pretty much most of this race. Almost 3/4 of this race was led by Matthew Axe. There he is doing his burnouts, and that is going to do it here for Iowa Speedway. Next race for the MSCA Casey's Cup Series, Milwaukee. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.